The Chinese People's Liberation Army was visiting Israel at the same time. Africa, China, all over the globe, you will find the red Chinese flag. You better pay attention to what is happening, or else those young girls sitting over there, wouldn't it be sad if not Saudi Arabia, if not Venezuela, then China they have to go to for energy resources? Scarabeo 9 is a Chinese-made oil rig, sitting 55 to 60 miles off the coast of Florida.
So you touched on this question before. What is your position on the federal government's role of illegal immigration as it relates to the state's rights?
Well, it's very simple. If you go into the Constitution in Article 1, Section 8, Article 1, Section 10, and Article 4, Section 4, it clearly states that the federal government has a responsibility to repel invasions. That's what they meant by securing the borders. And we're not doing that. In 1986, Ronald Reagan granted an amnesty program for 2 to 3 million. It was contingent upon the federal government securing the borders and enforcing their laws. We still have not done that. To the point now where illegal immigration is a multi-headed hydra. If you go to the United States Border Patrol website, you'll see a category called OTMs. OTM stands for other than Mexicans. These are people that have come to the country of Middle Eastern descent, Saudis. We already know that the Mexican drug cartels are working with Iran for an assassination attempt on the Saudi ambassador and also the Israeli ambassador. Illegal immigration is a national security issue. Illegal immigration is an economic issue. When you think about here in Florida, the amount of taxpayer dollars that are going to fund people that are here illegally, breaking our laws. It's an education issue when you think about what is happening in our schools. It's a healthcare issue because right down the road, I'm sure y'all remember what almost happened to Martin County Hospital because of one single illegal immigrant that they kept on life support for, I believe, over a year and a half. And when they found out where he was from and they paid for him to go back home, he brought a lawsuit against them. And it's a local criminality issue as well. What I don't want to see happen is some of the problems that we see down in South Florida, in Broward, and Palm Beach County. Illegal immigrant, drug gangs. You know, if they slowly but surely start to expand up this way, you know, it's going to affect the local criminality of your community. Those 5 reasons are why we must do something about legal immigration. However, we must come up with a pragmatic, principled solution that does not put our agricultural industry at a detriment. We have to look at how we can improve and refine our visa system so that people can come here and be seasonal workers with the agriculture industry. And then they can go back home and they can revalidate themselves and come back here for the next season, what have you. So we've got to work with the agriculture industry to make sure that the next thing you know, we don't see the food that is out there that feeds each and every one of us is rotting on the vines, and the next thing you know, the price of the produce and things of that nature increase even more so. But you've got to do something. Rome did not protect this northern border. And eventually, Odoacer and the barbaric tribes of Germany overtook Rome. Eventually, what happened?
So your thoughts on spending $830,000 for a conference that could have been done over a conference call when you're so in debt?
800, how much?
Well, it says 830,000.
Oh, the GSA. Oh, the GSA thing. What you want me to say? I mean, that's just wrong. I mean, you know, you can't do that with American taxpayer dollars at a time when we're suffering economically. And I guess that's why the leadership of the GSA, they stepped down. Look, this is the type of stuff that drives me crazy. There is so much fraud, waste, and abuse that comes out of Washington, D.C. And we got to fix that. We got to go line by line across the federal budget and find it. You guys remember that movie, Dave? Remember when the guy came in and he was, you know, playing president? Remember he brought Charles Grodin, his friend, into the White House. He was a CPA. Yeah. And they stood up all night and they went line by line. And they found so much wasteful spending. That's the exact same thing we need to do in Washington, D.C.
The question regarding statement the President made. So President Obama says people, many small business owners, don't pay their fair share. What is a fair share?
This is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. The top 1% of wage earners in the United States of America pay 38% of federal income taxes. The top 5% of wage earners in the United States of America pay 58% of federal income taxes. The top 25% of wage earners in the United States of America pay 86% of federal income taxes. 47% of wage earning households in the United States of America pay zero. I don't know what the fair share is. I don't know what economic equality is. I don't know what shared sacrifice is. But I do know this. If you continue to punish the people that are producers, if you continue to punish the people who are trying to grow their small business and keep a few Americans, South Floridians, people here in St. Lucie County working, eventually they're going to give up.
Fracking, to remove natural gas and the removal of shale oil industries, have the potential for major pollution. What type of regulation should the federal government enact to ensure our environment?
Well, I think right now there's a lot of debate about the dangers of fracking, but you know, when you look at places like Pennsylvania, when you go up to North Dakota, they're extracting this oil shale, they're extracting these natural gas, and they're not truly having that much damage and impact. As a matter of fact, when you go to North Dakota, 3 to 3.5% unemployment. The federal government actually came into North Dakota and tried to get them to shut down their oil shale operations. The people of North Dakota told the federal government to get out. I was out in Nebraska speaking, and the people in Nebraska want the Keystone XL pipeline project. You know, 27 pieces of legislation passed in the House, bipartisan, sitting on Harry's desk. EPA Regulatory Relief Act, Cement Sector Regulatory Relief Act, Coal Residuals Reuse and Management Act, Regulatory Flexibility Improvement Act, Regulatory Accountability Act, Farm Dust Regulation Prevention Act, Restarting America Offshore Leasing Now Act, Putting the Gulf of Mexico Back to Work Act, Reversing President Obama's Offshore Moratorium Act, North America Made Energy Security Act. We're killing our oil and gas industry. They're not out there trying to destroy our environment. They're out there trying to make sure that the United States of America can be energy independent and also hire Americans. If we continue to have a regulatory environment that destroys them, then, you know, go buy your stuff from Saudi Arabia, from China, from Venezuela. Keep your country enslaved to people who really, truthfully don't have the best interests of this country at heart. Continue to send your American taxpayer dollars to people that are then using it to go to terrorists who are killing my friends who are still out there in uniform. Just go ahead and do that. Come up with a solution. You know, the great thing about America, stop telling us what we can't do. Start talking about what we can do.
So this question's around the space program in Florida. Due to the halt of the program, there were 4,000 jobs lost in Florida and approximately 18,000 jobs nationwide. Will you stand for bringing the space program back to life?
Yes, but it's not just about bringing the space program back to life. It's about American exceptionalism. The United States of America does not go to any other country and ask for a ride. As well, if you understand that the next dimension of warfare in the 21st century is cyber warfare, we cannot afford to lose our advantage in space, which is exactly what is starting to happen. You want to talk about China, you want to talk about cybersecurity, each and every day. Some university, some Department of Defense agency, some defense contractor is getting attacked and their intellectual property and their secrets are being taken away. That little stealth fighter jet that the Chinese rolled out, a lot of that technology came from right here. We cannot lose that advantage that we have in space. So I stand for getting that industry back up and running at its most optimal level.